So let's get into 5 tips for how to encourage my baby to babble. Tip number 1 is especially for infants and for young babies, and that is to hold your baby close. Something that is scientific actually, in that a newborn can only see about 8 to 10 inches from their own face, and that happens to be the distance from the arm when you're holding a baby to the parent's face. All babies are born with what's called mirror neurons. And mirror neurons are something in the brain that tells a person to do what they see, to copy. So if you're holding your baby close and you're talking to them, even if they're too young and they don't have the oral motor skills or the muscle strength to create those actions yet, their brain is recording what they're seeing and learning from it. And when the time comes and the muscles are ready, they're going to start copying because they've recorded and seen and learned from what you've been doing while you've been holding your baby close. Now maybe your baby is a little bit older, maybe 6 months, and doesn't want to be cradled like that as much, and that's okay. So we're going to think about other ways to be close to your baby and have them engage with you in your eyes and your mouth. So maybe that's playtime while they're laying on their back. Or maybe it's tummy time and you're doing tummy time with them too and you're close to their face. And feeding time, let's say that they're on solid foods now. That's a perfect time to engage with your baby. They're hungry and they're interested in that food, and you can get close to their face, and you can engage with them that way. Tip number 2 is to babble at your baby. Now, this might be really odd and really uncomfortable for some people who didn't witness this when they were growing up. But it's actually a really wonderful thing for your baby. A lot of people say, well, I talk to my baby, but I talk to him in full sentences and in real words. And that's good too, of course. But your baby is watching and recording your mouth, of course, right? So sometimes we want to give them examples of things that they're going to be able to copy. So while you're holding your baby close, you're doing tummy time with them, you're feeding them, you can babble at them from time to time. And you'll be surprised at how interested they become in your mouth, in watching your mouth, and in trying to imitate that. So while you're feeding your baby, maybe you're saying, yum, mum, 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 and you just went into a little babble there. Or maybe you're feeding him baby carrots, you can go, baby carrots, right? If you're not fully comfortable just babbling with nonsense, you can use those real words and you can turn it into babbling too. If your baby does attempt to imitate you, then that's something that you should definitely reward with a little bit extra enthusiasm, or maybe a little kiss on the face, a little snuggles. Your baby will know that you really like that they tried to do what you do. As well as you can make faces at your baby. You can stick out your tongue and make kissy faces and open your mouth over and over. Those are things that your baby is going to be interested in and want to try and copy too. And that's great because it's exercising their mouth and getting them in this little copycat game back and forth with you. Again, a mini conversation. Tip number 3. Once your baby has started babbling and making sounds, make those sounds back at them. Copy what they do. That's going to encourage them. It's going to make them feel rewarded and like you're listening and that you like the noises that they make. So if your baby goes, ma, 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 then you go, ma, 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 and you copy it back, but maybe a little bit different. Maybe you changed your intonation, or maybe you made it longer. Maybe you changed it. Maybe you went, ma, 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 moo. Your baby's gonna love it. You're gonna see his eyes get bigger. You might see a little smile. That's all part of the game and really a healthy interaction for your baby. Tip number 4 is to use what scientists have called mother ease. Now, we can call it daddy ease too, but it's just a term that we use for a way that mothers over centuries have developed a way of naturally talking to their baby. And it's actually backed up by science as a way of talking that really does engage your baby. And so what mother ease is, it's the sing-songy up and down in intonation. Babies, actually when they're born, infants have not only limited visual range, they have a limited hearing range as well. They only hear the very high tones and the very low tones. They don't really hear the middle tones. And that's interesting because the middle tones happen to be the conversational tones. So it allows a baby to actually tune out, because they can't actually hear those tones, and be able to sleep through conversations. You know, while parents and family members are talking, baby is sound asleep. And so that's something that has developed in humans and is actually very beneficial. But if you're trying to engage your baby socially and be teaching them language, you need to talk in a way that really is going to engage him. And what is found is that motherese really is one of the best ways. It's that up and down sing-songy. Now, sometimes parents find this uncomfortable. They don't feel that it's natural for them to talk in this, "Hi, baby, how are you?" And maybe the dads feel that way too, but you know, the dads can use a lower tone, but it goes up and down. "Hey, I see you." You can really have fun with it and just allow yourself to be comfortable and be rewarded by the reaction that you're going to see from your baby really engaging with you. Tip number 5 to encourage your baby to babble is singing. Singing, again, it uses that up and down intonation naturally. And so if you're not comfortable talking to your baby that way, then maybe try singing. And really, you can sing anything to your baby. It doesn't have to be a nursery rhyme. It can be your favorite song from the radio. Your baby won't know a difference. But if you're spending that time and you're singing with those natural up and downs, your baby's going to be engaged and watching your mouth and enjoying that time for you. And that's going to encourage him to talk and later to sing as well too. Many of my parents that I work with, they tell me that their child who's now receiving therapy did not babble or did not babble as much, or was a very quiet baby in general. And this is common. Children who didn't babble or babbled late end up developing a speech and language delay. So it's important to start early engaging with your baby and doing things like I've suggested that will help encourage your baby to babble. But let's say now your baby's not a baby anymore, it's a toddler, and it's maybe 2 years old and they haven't babbled before. All these tips still really do apply. It may just be in a different context. So now your child is 2, so you're playing bubbles and you're playing Play-Doh. Well, you can still use all of these tips along with it. The point is that you're engaging with them and you're making fun and silly small sounds that they could imitate. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kayla from Walkie, Talkie Speech Therapy, and tune in again next time where I'll be answering more questions from real parents.